Hello and welcome. In this video, I will be doing a few math problems. I have a math final tomorrow, and so I thought it would be cool to do some math problems, kind of go through these, see where I'm struggling a little bit, kind of review those equations and formulas and stuff. And yeah, this might be a really boring video, but I always think that watching people do math problems or anything school related is kind of relaxing and puts me in a sleepy state. I sleep a lot through school. Try not to. I just can't help it. Anyway, I am going to attempt doing a soft spoken. I might go in and out of a whisper just because I'm more comfortable with the whisper. But in this situation, it's more common to be kind of soft spoken. So we'll just see how this goes. All right, I'm going to share my screen and do some math problems. All right, let's see here. I want this one. Okay, just going to put that right there at this. All right, so I'm going to be doing this math problem over here, problem number 10. And yeah, because I've been struggling a little bit with this. So I'm just going to rewrite the problem over here on the right side. And what we're trying to do is rewrite that expression, and our answer should only have positive exponents. Okay, so x to the negative third and y to the fourth over 6x to the negative 2, y to the negative 1, and all of this is to the negative second. All right, so I'm going to simplify what's in the parentheses first. The 8 and the 6 are their own term. So pretend there's like a 1 right there. So 8 to the first is 8 and 6 to the first is 6. And I'm going to simplify those. They both have a common term of 2. So if we took out or divided each of those by 2, we'd be left with 4/3. Okay, and then when there are negative exponents here, you flip them. So what's in the numerator goes to the denominator and vice versa. So that would be x squared and x cubed. We would bring the y up and keep this one. Now we still have some simplifying to do right here. When there's the same variable here, you take the exponents and subtract. Really what that looks like is just terms canceling out because they equal 1. So right here, those would cancel out because x over x equals 1 and x over x equals 1. And we're just left with a single x on the bottom. All right. So that would be the 4 and the 3 stay the same. The x is on top, go away, and we're just left with an x on the bottom. Now, when your variable is on the same level, so in this case, both in the numerator, you add these exponents. So 1 plus 4 is 5. So that's y to the 5th. You can shorten this. And then all of this is to the negative second. And when you have something outside of the parentheses to the negative second, to make this a positive, you invert what is inside the parentheses. So that would look like 3x over 4y to the fifth, all to the second. And then we're going to apply this to each term within the parentheses. Because remember, these constants have an invisible exponent that is 1. All right. And when you have an exponent that is raised to an exponent, you multiply those numbers together. So in this case, that would just be 3 to the second, which is 9. And then x to the second is x squared. And over 4 to the second is 16. And then 5 times 2 is 10. So y to the 10th. There we go. Simplified and positive exponents only. So there we go. Feeling pretty good about that. Let's see what other problems I can do. All right, let's do number 5. So solve the logarithmic equation for exact solutions. So we have log base 4 of 2x plus 6 equals 2. So when you have a logarithm, the base to this equals this. So that would be 4 squared equals 2x plus 6. Now 4 squared is 16. So now we just solve for x. So subtract 6. On both sides we're left with 10 equals 2x. Isolate the x by dividing by 2. And we're left with 5 equals x. All right, let's check that. So log base 4 of 2 times 5 plus 6 equals 2. So again, take that raised to that. So 4 squared equals 2 times 5 is 10 plus 6 equals 16. Yes, all that checks out. X equals 5 there. All right. This way. Okay, let's do 18. It says Joe can row a boat 39 miles downstream with the current in the same time that it takes him to row 15 miles upstream against the current. The speed at which he rows the boat in still water is 9 miles per hour. Find the speed of the river's current. Okay, so that uses the formula distance equals rate times time. So let's make a little chart here. And we'll put upstream and downstream. So upstream, he can row 15 miles, and that is against the current. So that would be his speed of 9 miles per hour. Since he's going against it, you're going to subtract the rate of the current. And then t, we don't know t. All right, and then downstream, he can go 39 miles. It's not our units. And then with the current going downstream. So that would be 9 plus c. And then again, t is unknown. All right, since he can travel 15 miles in the same amount of time as he can travel 39 miles, these equal each other. The t's are the same. So therefore, these two expressions equal each other. But we want to write this equation to where t is isolated, because that is what is the unknown. So in order to get t, we divide by r. Okay, so that would be 15 divided by 9 minus c equals t. And then on the bottom, 39 divided by 9 plus c equals t. Now, if both of these right here equal t, that means that they equal each other. So I'm going to rewrite this as 15 over 9 minus c equals 39 over 9 plus c. All right. Now we need to multiply by the LCD, or the least common denominator. And in this case, the least common denominator is this and this. So over on this side, what is missing is the 9 plus c, and on this side, that's missing the 9 minus c. So what we do is we multiply by the LCD. So 9 plus c, 9 minus c on both sides. Wrong thing. 1 second. How do I get rid of that? There we go. 9 minus c. Okay, and now some of these terms can cancel out. And we're left with expressions that are not rational. They're just the whole number. So anyway, that looks like 15 times 9 plus c. So what's left over here? And then that equals 39 times 9 minus c, because that's what's left over here. And now we have to distribute. So 15 times 9 is 135 plus 15c equals 9 times 9 is 351 minus 39c. All right, and now we solve for c. And we do that as we want to get all of our c terms on one side and all of our constants on the other. So I am going to add 39c on both sides and subtract 135 on both sides. And I'm going to come up here, okay, to where we have some more blank space. So 15 plus 39, that's 54c equals 16. All right, and then divide by 54. And that gives us c equals miles per hour. It says include units in your answer. So the rate of the current is 4 miles per hour. All right. Let's do, where did that go? Number 17. So the one above, the one we just did. It's a circle equation. And the formula for a circle is x minus k squared, oh no, sorry, h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. All right, and you can find the center and the radius using this equation because the center is h comma k. So that's the center. And then radius is just you square root r squared to get r. Okay. All right, so we're using these terms over here. Let's clear this out. So x squared, and then I'm going to write it all with the variables together. So minus 10x. I'm going to leave a little space here because we're going to be completing the square in order to factor. All right, so next we have our y squared, 4y, leave a space, and then I'm already going to just move the 20 onto the side. All right, so in order to complete the square, you take b over 2 and square it. So half of b, and b is your second term. So half of b, that would be negative 5 squared, which is 25. So plus 25 right here. Then half of b over here on this side is 2 squared, which is 4. So we're going to add a 4. But since we added 25 and added 4 here, we need to add 25 and add 4, which that leaves us with 9. Okay. So 9 equals, and then we can factor out these terms here, these polynomials. All right. So I'm going to erase some of this off to the side. Okay, so that will give us our perfect squares. All right. So x and y. And then our term here that we're going to use is that half of b before it was squared, because then we square everything on the outside to make it that perfect square. All right, and then that would be plus 2 equals 9. Let's bring this closer. Remember to square that. Okay, so if you remember our formula from before, our center can be found with these right here. And now remember, in our formula, both of these were negative, but since this one's a positive, we're going to take the opposite of this term here, opposite of that 2, so that our center would be 5, negative 2. Okay, and then our radius, if you remember, we have to square root it. So that gives us 3 units. It is our radius. All right. There we go. Let's clear this. All right. Let's do one more problem. Let's do number 9. Okay, so Zeph can complete a task in 3 hours. Ron takes 5 hours to complete the same task. How long will it take them working together to complete that task? So Zeph can complete a task in 3 hours. So his rate is 1/3 task per hours. Okay, so 1 whole task per 3 hours. All right. Write that again. And then Ron takes 5 hours to complete the same task. So that one same task at a rate of 5 hours. And then together, how long will it take them to complete the task? So we add them because they're doing it together to complete one whole task. All right. So I need to add these fractions together. And if you remember, fractions need the same denominator. So the least common multiple is 15. So we need to add multiply by 5/5 here and by 3/3 here. So that'd be 5/15 plus 3/15 equals 8/15. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. So their rate is 8/15. 8/15 hours to complete that task. All right. Let's clear that. That one went pretty fast, so I'll do one more. Let's do number 4. So that's the distance between 2 points. So the distance formula between 2 points is d equals the square root of x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared. All right. So our points are 1/3, 1/2, and 4/3, -1/2. All right. So that would be distance equals square root of 4/3, so x2. And really, this is whatever order you want your points in. You just have to make sure that it's the same order. So if this is x1, this has to be y1. Okay. x2, or yeah, x2, and then this has to be y2. But if you had it like this, and this was x2, this had to be y2, and this could be x1, y1. Okay. All right. So I'm just taking this side minus this side. So 4/3 minus 1/3, because that gives me a cleaner number. And then, so those are my x terms. And then my y terms do -1/2 minus 1/2 squared. All right, so 4/3 minus 1/3 is 3/3. Okay, plus -1/2 minus 1/2 is -2/2. Okay, and then we simplify this. So that's d equals 1 squared plus negative 1 squared. And again, that just gives us 1 minus 1. No, plus, because negative 1 squared is 1. Okay, and then that would be distance is 2 units. I'm going to double check that just because that looks a little funny to me. Let's see, that was number 7. No, 4. Square root of 2. That's right. Okay. So you have to keep it under there. All right. There we go. That is all I have the time for. So wish me luck on my math final. And I hope you found that somewhat relaxing. Have a good night.